Hello, and welcome to this nighttime, because it's still not daylight yet, this daylight savings time business taste challenge. I have two 40% alcohol single malt Highland Scotch whiskies, and they are both given double cask maturation, but in a different manner. Okay, so this is Trader Joe's Rum Cask finish. It's aged in traditional oak casks, meaning probably ex-bourbon barrels, which could be 25, 30 years old or even older. They just reuse them and reuse them and reuse them. And ex-rum barrels, Caribbean. Well, I'll say Caribbean. I don't really know if it's Caribbean. I was saying that yesterday. It could be from Belize, just theorizing. But it just says premium rum casks, which is traditionally Caribbean. However, they're not always. There's a company in Kentucky that makes rum. There's Louisiana companies who produce rum, some Louisiana rum. So it's not all Caribbean. It's just usually from the Caribbean islands. Now this is the Trader Joe's Bourbon Cask. So they use the same traditional oak aging, and then they finish it in first fill bourbon barrels. We don't know whose bourbon. Now, if you could find out who Hammish Robertson deals with, I could check out their website and see if they have like an exclusive bourbon company that they deal with. That would probably give you a good indication. But still, you don't know, because we don't know who their Scotch producer is, and we don't know what new, first fill bourbon barrels they have on hand. So they keep things pretty much under wraps on who and what. But we know it's from Hammish Robertson, an independent bottler in Scotland, and they make it for Trader Joe's, which, yes, in Louisiana, Trader Joe's sells, depending on the store. Now, I can't answer for every store, but the one in Metairie, Louisiana, they're building a new one in New Orleans also. Hasn't opened yet, but they say it should be open soon. Oh, wait, it did open. That's right. And you know what? I haven't been there. I ought to go. Yeah, next time I go into New Orleans, I think I'm going to make an effort to go to Trader Joe's in New Orleans on United States Highway route number 90. I think it's on US 90, which would be the eastbound side of the highway. It snakes through the city, going every direction, north, northwest, east, south. So you can't really use that direction because it's so serpentine. But we just say the eastbound side of the highway. Let's say that way. Locally known as Tulane Avenue. That's the local name. The official name is US Highway 90, though, according to the state of Louisiana, who owns the road. Okay, so I would like to go in there and see what they have to offer. Probably not much different from Metairie, but maybe. I don't know. Haven't been there. But they sell liquor in Louisiana. They sell regular stuff like Jack Daniels, Jim Beam, Johnny Walker Red Label, Jameson, typical stuff. And they sell unusual Trader Joe's branded products with their own house brands. They have a Trader Joe's Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, which everybody knows that's from Buffalo Trace. There's too many clues to get around it. The Trader Joe's Special Reserve, I think it's called Irish Whiskey. Don't know who makes that. I haven't researched it. I have a bottle unopened. And they've got their own tequila, their own Trader Joe's vodka, their own Trader Joe's rum, and so forth. Okay. And mezcal. Little Swords. It's called Little Swords in Spanish. They say it in Spanish. But not the greatest stuff. Not the worst. There's no website listing for it. If you look on their website, they don't even bother listing it. They barely talk about their beer brands. They'll list a few, just mention them. Well, the few that they mention, they go into all this detail, actually, like Bosom IPA, controversial product. Some people like it. Some people find it disgusting. I like Bosom. It's strange. I can't say it's normal. These are both copper. So the appearance won't matter. These are basically the same whiskey. They're taking the same whiskey. And these whiskey companies are clever, yeah. They'll take the same product and treat it different ways, and then you got maybe 10 different offerings. But it's the same base product. Buffalo Trace is good for that. They have 3 mash bills. That's it. They make 3 whiskeys, basically. High rye, low rye, and wheated. Okay? It's all the same ingredients. Same ratio or percentages of corn, rye, wheat, and so forth. But how do they have like 45 different or more brand names? Because what they do is they age one this many years, age one that many years, different aging. So that's going to make it technically different. The barrel char, heavy, moderately light, and light. So that can change it. And then they'll do the proof differently. They'll come out the barrel at barrel proof. Then they told me this at the distillery tour, they add tap water to it in order to bring it all the way down eventually to 80 proof, the lowest they can go for a whiskey, bourbon whiskey, or any type of whiskey. So they'll go down to 80 for your McAfee's Old Number 8 benchmark, formerly known just as benchmark bourbon. Seagram's benchmark, originally Seagram's benchmark from 1968 to 89 when they sold it to Sazerac. But so see that they're taking that, I think it's a high rye mash bill. I'd have to check the list. They told me the list on the phone. I told the lady, let me write it all down. And I was writing it. And but I cross-referenced my list with what was on the internet, and it was identical. So I know it's legit. It's primary source from the company. And so they're just taking that one, high rye mash bill, if I'm not mistaken, bring it down to 80 proof, and they only age it 3 years. Okay. Now, Old Charter, I don't know if I think that might be a low rye mash bill. Can't remember. Like I say, that's why you have references, so you can look at the reference. You don't have to memorize everything. They bring that one down to 80 proof also, but they don't have an age statement on it. So it's just more than 4, but we don't know how much more, you see. So that's how they cleverly take 3 things. That's how they cleverly take 3 things and make maybe 100 things from it. Because, I mean, they got so many bourbons. They even make, it's unreal. Unreal, but it is real. It is real. It is real. It's like reading the Bible. Some people think they have to memorize the whole Bible to show you that they're experts on it. Usually in the Protestant world, they'll, like the fundamentalist Protestant world, they will throw quotes from the Bible, direct quotes. And I say, that's impressive that you memorize all of this, but do you understand it? Because you don't really need to memorize it because it's there in the Bible. You could just sort of they have indexes and topical indexes, concordances, they call it, where you could match up the topics with the verses. Catholic or Protestant, doesn't, they both have those study aids. Or same thing with history. People like to just spout out endless technical details about the Second World War or the war between the states. This one was commanding this division, and at 3 p.m. they attacked this position. And that's nice, but once again, I say unnecessary, because it's all in books. You can look it up as need be. Now, you'll eventually remember a lot of it just by continually studying. But that doesn't mean you understand the Second World War or understand the war between the states and so forth. Understanding it is actually more important than spouting a bunch of many times unrelated details. Okay, so that's the point of these. I'm telling you the information I have, but I don't have much information. There is no website listing. I can tell you what's on the bottle. I just did generally, so I can tell you the price. I know it's $17.99 for the rum cask finish, and it was where's the bourbon cask? Yeah, all three were $17.99. Rum, bourbon, and sherry cask finish. And I haven't opened the sherry cask yet. Who's sherry? Don't know. You know, that's all I say. Sherry. That could mean a million things, right? Didn't need to buy the same product 3 times with different finishes, but I thought, you know, it's so inexpensive. There's not much risk in it. If they're not that great, I wouldn't be shocked anyway. Not hurting anything. So there weren't many video reviews because apparently not too many people ever see these products. Because I had people telling me from New England states and so forth, like Trader Joe's doesn't sell alcohol where I live. I think in Mississippi they don't sell it. So it's kind of limited, but probably there's enough Trader Joe's in California and Louisiana, because I know California does allow liquor sales in grocery store. They got restrictions on everything else now in that state, in that kind of proto-communist state, but they do allow that thing when I'm talking about the liquor sales in grocery store. If I go to Texas, Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, Georgia, there's a bunch of states that just named. Tennessee, definitely Oklahoma. No liquor sales in grocery stores or convenience stores in any of those states. But Louisiana, it's allowed. Now, I can't say locally. Now, they might have local ordinance in some parishes where you have to go to a liquor store. That's a local self-government and that. But the state law allows it. Okay. So a lot of people from around the United States come to Louisiana and they find it shocking. Michael Komaroff was talking about that on John and Ile's channel when they did their Stout Sunday late night video, a live video on Sunday night this week. And Michael was drinking this bourbon cask, bourbon barrel aged, no, whiskey barrel, didn't specify bourbon, Boulevard whiskey barrel aged. And he was commenting on how Louisiana has these wide open liquor regulations, and he thought that was strange being it was in the South, which usually very restrictive, but Louisiana has more of a French and Spanish legal background. In fact, Louisiana uses the Napoleonic Code for its legal basis, and the other states, other 49 states, used common law. But Louisiana is following the Napoleonic French model. A lot of our local governments are called police juries in the parishes. We don't even have counties. We have parishes, police juries. Whereas most states have a parish, a county, what do they call it? County board of governors or county legislature, whatever they call it, county council. I really don't know what they call it. Not a whole lot of aroma here. And I did mix them up. Or did I mix them up? I don't even remember. So now it doesn't matter because I forgot. That's the whole key, that you don't know which is which. And I certainly don't. Yeah, not much happening there. So aromatically, it's a washout. Nothing bad. I'm not smelling anything bad or off or unpleasant, but I'm just not smelling anything except for a faint This camera is so irritating. A faint, generalized whiskey aroma. Over here, yes, but maybe something underneath. But is it rum? Is it bourbon? I don't know. It's too faint to pick it up, to determine it, to make a determination. So now we have to go to the most important part, the taste challenge. Now, can I get these sometimes on aroma only? Yes. With some of these products, I'll just smell it and I know what it is. But that's kind of rare. Sweet bourbon or sweet single malt Scotch. But I think there's like a bourbon undertaste. Think. Raisins. It tastes like golden raisins and prunes. Can't explain it. But maybe that's making me think rum though, right? The prunes and golden raisins would be more sugar oriented. Rum being produced from sugar byproduct, molasses. Intriguing. Is it a wonderful flavor? Well, I don't know about wonderful. But it's solid. Solid. Is it a good deal for $17.99? Single malt Scotch for $17.99? Yeah, it's a good deal. But they're compromises. You know, you're going to make compromises. It's not going to be Abalor. It's not going to be Colila. I mean, you do have to look at these things in perspective, which some reviewers seem to lack. They just can't, or won't. But I think it's a matter of can't. I hear the waste management out there. Now, see this one. I get the feeling, the impression that it's a cornbread undertaste, which would be corn linking to what? Bourbon. See? But it's faint. In both cases, it's faint. It's not a overriding thing. Now, when I did the blended Scotch, the Dewar's, very popular brand, and about every 6 months or a year, they'll do a different cask treatment. Right now, they're doing, I think, Rum Cask, what they have on the market. But years ago, they did illegal mezcal cask. They had it finished in illegal mezcal. It was 8-year aged Dewar's, and then it was finished in mezcal. Very distinctive flavor. That mezcal gave it such a distinctive note. Some people might find that unpleasant or wonderful. I thought it was on the wonderful side of it. But you could never mix it up. Like you would never confuse it with any other blended Scotch. Like you just taste it. You automatically knew, oh, that's the illegal. This one here is a little tough. Oh, and by the way, parishes. Yes, Louisiana has parishes as their local government, and Jamaica, I found out through studying, has parishes. No counties, parishes. And I don't know other countries. I don't know if any other countries do that. Okay, France has departments. They used to have provinces. Now they have departments, sort of like a county. England has counties. Scotland has counties. I think Wales has counties. Northern Ireland has counties. And the Irish Republic has counties. Just depends. Okay. Some of those other Caribbean islands might also have parishes, though. That's like a antiquated term for local government. Louisiana kept the term, and so did Jamaica. But I think a few others do, perhaps Grenada or something. Oh, I can't remember. Sweet, yeah. Honey, yeah. Raisin, yeah. Prunes, yeah. It's making me think rum. Let's see. That's making me think cornbread, a little char, bourbon. Could these have flavoring added? No, they can't. We know that definitively. Scotch whiskey is not allowed to have flavoring added. Even the blended. Nope. You say, well, I saw Patty's honey. But that's not a Scotch. That's a whiskey specialty. And if you read the label carefully, it says Scotch with honey added. So they're not selling it as a Scotch. They're selling it as a Scotch with honey added. You see, they're not slipping in a flavor unannounced. Canada, United States, blended whiskey, you can add flavoring and don't have to announce it. Doesn't have to be anywhere on the label. Different. Now, U.S. has some regulations, some stipulations. Can't be above 2.5% of the volume. Has to be natural flavor. Canada, same thing, natural flavor. But I noticed the new regulation don't even put a percentage limit on it. It just said with natural flavors. What are those? We don't know. Doesn't say. It's not specific. But with Scotch, not allowed. End of story. Bourbon, not allowed. End of story. There's no wiggle room on that. But yet I can go to Walmart and buy 10 high bourbon with natural flavors. You just said it can't have flavoring added. Oh no, it's not being sold as a bourbon. It's bourbon with natural flavors, see? Funny, huh? There's a qualifying title. And they're closing it out. They put it on closeout for $13 a handle. So I guess that's $13.99 a handle. I guess they're getting rid of it. Get out of our store. That's the only one they have like that. I didn't buy another one. I have a bottle and a little bit left, and that's enough. I've had enough 10 high in my life. These are interesting products. Are they very good? I would say even into excellent. I honestly believe in that. They have a lot of good qualities to them. That 8-year age Trader Joe's Speyside. Nah, that thing, every time I try it, it's worse. You ever get a product like that? Like the first time you try it, you like it. And then the second time you start to notice, like, I don't know about this. And boy, by the time you keep trying it, it gets worse. Every time it's worse. It never improves. It just declines. I have some beers that I've had over the years that are like that. And whiskeys. It's not common. Well, boy, you don't forget it when it's like that. It just always gets worse. And that's a sign that it ain't good. And, subjectively. If you say, well, I like it, well, then it's good. If you like it, then it's good, right? Simple as that. And that's where the fanaticism doesn't have a good role to play in the beer, wine, and liquor world. To tell somebody that's not good, you shouldn't drink it. That's not your job. Okay, we don't need you to be the gatekeeper of drinking alcohol or tasting alcohol. Let people decide on their own. I had to put somebody out of alcohol eggs. I didn't want to do it, but he did not really post anything. The only thing he ever really did was make a face emoji of laughing at people when they would post a beer, like, I don't know, they would say, I'm drinking Old English 800. And that's all he would do. And it was done to ridicule them. Like, you're stupid for drinking that. And it kept, I said, I'm going to do like, he kept doing it. And I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do like baseball. I'm like an umpire. And I like to be very liberal about things. But I said, I'm going to give him 3 strikes. And I know he's going to strike out because these kind of people, they don't change. They just troll and they don't change. So strike 1, let it go. Strike 2, and then strike 3, he was out. Why? I mean, it's no big deal because he didn't contribute anything. He wasn't there he didn't care about people. And I have some, you say you got spammers like that too. Yeah, I got people like that in the group. They only post their beer review. They only post their photo. They don't care what anybody else posts. It's all centric to themselves, self-centered. They can't relate to anybody else. Rock and Roll Club, same thing. I had to put a limit on posting songs. You could post 2 a day. Because some of these people are fanatics, they'll post 25 songs. They're probably drinking at night, post 25 songs of their favorite bands, oh, this is awesome. They ain't listening to nobody else's music. That ain't going to happen, okay? forget it. They only want you to listen to their, and then they'll post like a 43-minute concert. It's awesome. Little Feat. Okay, I listened to it. It was good. But I had to put a 10-minute limit on the songs, unless you listen to everybody else's stuff, and they ain't about to do that. I do. I've listened to every song posted in that group, unfortunately, because some of them are, in my opinion, horrible. It's like, you like this? Okay. But I don't say that. I don't denigrate people. I just like, okay, I never heard that before. That's all I say. Now, some people press me on it, but what do you think about it? And I'm trying to be nice. I'm like, well, it's not for me. But if they keep pressing me, I'm going to tell them I don't like it. I think it's horrible. But you press me on it. You push the issue, so you press the issue. So that's what I think about it. And then they get upset sometimes. Oh, I can't believe you said. Well, you asked, and it was obvious I was trying to avoid. I was reticent to discuss the issue, but you had to harp on it. Well, what can you do? You try to be fair. I like this product a lot. And I'm very glad that I paid $17.99. I don't know what the price is today. I don't think it's much more. I think they do a great job with it. I'm enjoying it. I like the raisin, like the prune, which is strange. But did they do Rum Cask finished single malt Scotch whiskeys 30, 40 years ago? I don't think they did. You might have evidence otherwise, but I don't think they did. I think that's kind of a new thing because of all the saturation of the liquor business, the whiskey business. So many brands chasing a limited amount of people that they come out with all of this, if you want to call it gimmicks. Okay, I can go along with that. To try to pull people in. They do it with beer, every kind of beer with every kind of fruit flavor in it. And then even more ridiculous things like donuts and stuff. But sausage. I had a whiskey that was made to taste like barbecue sauce. Clearly a gimmick, but they were kind of going along with the joke. And I don't mind that, But it's like Fireball. You say Fireball, that stuff's a joke. Okay, but they're in on the joke. You know what I mean? No, I mean, just look at their website. They're clearly going along. They know what it is. They know what this is. It's cheap Canadian whiskey with cinnamon in it. But they're not taking it seriously because it's not meant to be taken seriously. And you can't take issue with that. They're like, okay, it's what it is. It's not harming anyone, Same thing with 99 bananas. And I've had people, you got to be bananas to drink that. I'm a serious whiskey person. I'm a whiskey snob. I only deal with the best. I would never drink 99 bananas, schnapps, what it is. I'm like, well, I mean, why you got to be so uptight about it? It's not any kind of big thing. I'm pretty sure we all know what it is. But that's the problem when your hobby becomes your religion. And I'll tell you what, I ought to make a video about that. I've run into that so many times over the years with these really uptight people who make their hobby a religion. You cannot talk to them. They have formed ideas, meaning they got an opinion about it, and they're not open-minded, and they can only look at things one way. They cannot or will not, but probably mostly cannot look at things in a analytical manner, or cannot take themselves out of it and just look at it like you're looking at something hypothetically. And they only think in a linear way. There's like linear thought. You cannot. I am the paragon of thinking, and they're out there now doing beer reviews, and they are not open to your opinions. And as you well know, as we all know or should know, there's very cliquish. They will look the beer and whiskey, YouTube, what do you want to call it, internet video review community. They are not open to everybody. They're very cliquish. And you talk about the song "In with the In Crowd." I'm in with the in crowd. It's very much like that. I think it's a lot of insecurity with that, like self insecurity, that they have to be cliquish. They don't want outsiders in their community. And their reasoning will be, but you express divergent thoughts. I'm not even saying it's me, but it is sometimes, but other people. It's like, what did that person really do? They can't say. It's sad though, because it could be a lot more inclusive, and it would help the craft beer world. I think that went a long way to help destroy in many ways the craft beer movement, if you want to, if one should call it a movement. But you know what I'm saying? That elitist, insider, cliquish viewpoint, that there's some kind of elevated, erudite elders, like there's some kind of like elite elders. And I really want to tell them, you're really a bunch of alcoholics, what you really are, but you're not that special, but you think you are, but you're not. And excluding people and blocking them is not really bolstering your position of being exalted elders. Because if you were that wonderful of a beer review, you would include people. And if they express opinions you didn't like, or, they were sort of like new to the hobby, you would embrace them and try to help them and encourage them, not to denigrate them. But this is nothing new. You say, oh, something happened, huh? I was saying this in 2012. It's not new. Some people agreed. Some people didn't like it. And I guess that got me on the unapproved persons list a few times, and I didn't care. Okay, I'm saying this is the Bourbon Cask. It is. I really think that was the key right there. That's the key to the riddle. That raisin and that prune was the tip off. That tipped me off. Like, okay. But it was something you couldn't get in a rush. If you're in a rush, you say, I'm in a rush. I got to watch shorts. I can't watch a long video. I got to watch shorts. I don't have a good attention span. That's why I never read articles. I only watch podcasts. Okay. I said years ago, the channel is not for people in a rush. But these things here, you got to really think, Doc. Think real hard. You're trying to analyze it instead of rush it. And I don't watch shorts. But if you like to watch shorts, that's fine with me. It makes no difference to me, especially since your interests don't conflict with my interests. But I like to see a video where they're really going into detail and thinking about it, talking about it, analyzing it, trying to grasp it, understand it. These are the videos I like. I don't like videos that turn into a vlog, and I don't like channels that use beer, wine, and liquor as a vehicle for vlogs. You ever notice that? I know I can name them, but I wouldn't do that. I don't want to hurt the people's feeling. But the channel really isn't about beer, wine, or liquor reviews. The channel is about their life. Like, oh, we went to Momo's house and she fixed us some she had fried catfish and crispy French fries, and the video might be 25 minutes and it'd be 3 minutes of the beer. I don't know who these people are. I don't know who their grandma is. I don't know that they moved to a different house, that their yard is dry because it hadn't been raining. I don't know. I it would be as if I would look through the phone book. Remember, you used to have phone books. They still do, and not much in it. And I would randomly pick somebody and just want to examine their life. I'm not interested in their life. I'm not interested in rock stars' life. People say, well, you know, she was with many different men. I didn't listen to her albums because she was with many different men. I listened to the album. I like her voice. She had a mezzo soprano voice, and the songs are interesting. I don't care what her private life. I'm not interested. And they said, well, she's liberal. She supported this environmental. I'm not interested in that. I don't know. I figure that's probably true, but I don't care. You know, I didn't like her music because because Robert Redford was her boyfriend in 1971. I don't care about that. Okay. I mean, you're so vain, you probably think the song is about you. I don't know. I don't care about these things. But some people are obsessed with it. Okay, anyway. And I've noticed that over the years, channels that use beer, wine, and liquor as a vehicle for their vlog, their video log, their life. And I'm not, I don't challenge them on that. I don't make comments to that effect. Like, but I notice it, and I don't want to hear about it. And I'm not opposed to they went to their grandma's house and she made fried catfish with crispy French fries, and they moved to a new house later. And I'm not opposed to that, but I'm not interested. I cannot be interested in it. All right, we all take care. Which one is better? Well, that's debatable, obviously, but I think I'm gonna go with the Rum Cask personal preference. I like the Rum Cask finish a little bit better. I kind of like that raisin and pruning, even though I say all the time I don't like fruit. To eat fruit, I don't. But the flavors I like, you know, in like a beer or something, or a whiskey in this case. But to eat fruit, it's like eating sugar. You know, it's too sweet to me. I rather starches and vegetables. You know, green vegetables. I can eat those all the time, but the fruit, it just. When I turned around 35 years old, I was like, I don't want to eat fruit. Okay. Well, anyway, thanks for watching. And I think the next challenge is going to be more interesting. Although I do think the Trader Joe's were interesting, but it's limited, you know, limited appeal because of what they are. Most people can't get them. But I've got some really well-known products coming in. I got Glenmorangie single malt. Now, Glenmorangie was established 1897, but it's one of those kind of not so honest history, because they went out of business for a long time and they were resurrected. But the company did actually start in 1897 with a long period of inactivity. But anyway, it is in production now. It is an actual running distillery. It's not a name that somebody co-opted. And I really like the Glenmorangie. And I got it for $24 at Walmart. Now the price has skyrocketed since then. I'm glad I bought it when it was low. And I think it's wonderful. You know, the Elgin Classic, it's basic. You say, oh, it's a base model. I know everything has to have a base, right? So it's the base. But it's very, very good, and I love it. And I think it's going to wipe out the Trader Joe's Rum Cask. I don't think Trader Joe's Rum Cask got a chance. I think it's about to get whipped, but we don't know that. That's an assumption. Then I've got Tomatin Legacy, but known as Dualkus in the United States because it's in trademark issues. There's already a Legacy Scotch been on the market since 1962 in the United States. I mean, it's made in Scotland, but it's sold here. So Legacy Scotch had the trademark, so they couldn't sell it as Legacy. I mean, it wasn't Legacy Scotch, it was Tomatin Legacy, but they didn't want to go, you know, get into that. So they said, all right, we'll just call it Dualkus, which in the Scottish language means legacy, you know, end around. That's a wonderful product. Oh man, it's really great. And then and I got that for $26.99 at Walmart. And I have so many others. Jura Journey, which has been renamed to Jura Bourbon Cask. True story. Same product. Just they gave it a different name. I thought Jura Journey sounded nice. Journey, you know. Maybe that was a trademark problem. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, oh yeah, it's a great adventure, and it'll take me through the end of the month, deep into next month, probably, considering how many Scotch whiskeys I have. On its own, the Trader Joe's Highland Rum Cask single malt Rum Cask finish is very nice. in competition against what I've got coming up, I don't think it's going to do too well. I don't think it's going to do too well, but I don't know that. We'll find out. All right. Thanks for watching the video. I appreciate it. Y'all take care and have a good Thursday. And I got to mow the lawn, and the heat is going to be incredible. Louisiana, I have people up north saying, aren't you glad the cool weather's here? And I'm like, no, it's like 92 during the day. It was cool this morning, though, about 68. So it's cool outside. I felt nice, but it's still in the low 90s. Yeah. We go into heat early May, and we stay in heat until early October. So that the fall, we don't understand what is fall. What is fall? What is autumn? I heard about it. All right, take care, everybody.